Who among us doesn't need to seek forgiveness?
Which, as we know, is the Ram's horn.
Shalom, friends. One of my tefillot that I look forward to the most, and that I can think about exactly where I was every high holidays, is Unetaneh Tokef Kedushat Hayom. The prayer that starts with the idea of kind of the heaviness, the holiness of the day, and walks through a series of what kind of God or the universe is, and what is going to happen or what could happen in the year ahead. Unetaneh Tokef Kedushat Hayom. It is the moment to think about the holiness of the day. And one of the ways that I personally connect to it is through the story of Kibbutz Beit Hashita, a kibbutz in Israel that was founded as one of the most secular kibbutzim. Some of you may know it for the incredible olives and pickles that they make, the Beit Hashita cans. And they had some of the people who really established the kibbutz world. A close family friend of ours, Ariella Ben Gurion, the nephew of David Ben Gurion, would tell the story of how the kibbutz was proud of being an Israeli Zionist secular kibbutz. And holidays did not mean much in the kibbutz. Yom Kippur was a day like any other day, until the Yom Kippur War. In the Yom Kippur War, Beit Hashita had the terrible tragedy of losing 11 of their kibbutz members in the Yom Kippur War. And in that moment, Yom Kippur became not just a holiday for them, not just a day that was symbolizing a Jewish holiday, but it also became a day of memory, a day of thinking about those 11 young soldiers who had died in the Yom Kippur War. Fast forward many years later, an incredible composer in Israel, Yair Rosenblum, was living in the kibbutz and wanted to leave a gift for the kibbutz. Fast forward 20 years later, 1990, Yair Rosenblum, an incredible Israeli composer, wanted to leave a gift for the kibbutz he had lived in for 3 years. And he first looked at the words of Kol Nidre, another famous tefillah of Yom Kippur, and then stumbled upon the words of Unetaneh Tokef Kedushat Hayom, Ki hu nora ve'ayom, and felt that that was the most appropriate tefillah, and wrote a tune that to me personally is still the tune that I sing in my head no matter which shul I'm in on Yom Kippur, a tune to memorialize those who died in Yom Kippur, in the Yom Kippur War, that were the members of Beit Hashita. And something about that goodbye song to the kibbutz brought the kibbutz together to choose to mark the day of Yom Kippur in a different way. And from that moment on, Ariella Ben Gurion tells the story that they chose to have a davening on Erev Yom Kippur, to have a service that was a memorial service and also a Jewish service. And it was their way, through song, through prayer, to connect to the tragedy that had plagued the kibbutz. And when I think about that moment, both the collective and the individual, for me, Unetaneh Tokef Kedushat Hayom, going into Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur 5781, having not knowing a year ago where we would be today in Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, those words hit me very heavily. Who in fire, who in water, who by thirst, who by plague, who will be at peace and who will be troubled? Mi yashkit umi yitaref, mi yishalev umi yityasar, mi ya'ani umi ya'asher, mi yishafel umi yarum. Who will be impoverished and who will be enriched, who will be brought low and who will be raised up. Every year these words hit me strongly, but coming out of 5780 and seeing our Jewish people, our American people, our people in the world thinking about each other, looking who is suffering and who is not, who is rich and who is poor, who is facing tragedy and who is able to rise out of the tragedy to create peace and health and good and wellness. And I think in the same way that Beit Hashita saw that moment of transition to take this terrible tragedy that had happened to them and to turn it into a connection to Judaism, a way to bring the Judaism back into their kibbutz and memorialize not just those people, but our Jewish tradition. I too look at this upcoming year and think about who are the people by me who are thirsty, who are hungry, who are suffering, and try to think about how we can each see the blessings and the gratitude that we have, and not just admit that and be proud of that, but use that to help others. Wishing you all a Tokef Kedushat Hayom, a day where the holiness of the day gives you that burning feeling inside to go, to do something, to help someone, and to know that we can never take for granted and don't know what the year ahead will bring. So today, be there for another person, for yourself, for your family, for your community, and wishing us all a good 5781. Shana Tova.